a lot about Tupac, by the way.
Well,
you want me to get to this?
I told you. Go ahead. Read how it sounds when you don't have to qualify it.
Yeah, it says poet, actor, activist, and rapper. Tupac Amaru Shakur was the ultimate in the 90s. Once a tag-along member of Digital Underground, Pac's larger-than-life demeanor became too big to shelter. After his scene stealing verse in the 1991 hit Same Song, Tupac's duality as a solo artist was remarkable. 1 minute he was endearing, scripting empathetic classics like Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up. The other, he was explosively lacing up his war boots, ready to go in on some enemies on Hit 'em Up and Hail Mary. They skipped around, but I get it. He wasn't necessarily the best lyricist. Now, I don't like that.
I don't like that they're doing that. Stop doing that shit.
I don't like that. What does that mean?
That's
how
that
can
East
you?
Coast shit,
that
Mark.
is dangerous.
That's that East Coast shit.
How can you say he was a poet?
How do you start off by saying poet?
Yeah. The first word in this is poet, and then you come in the same paragraph. He wasn't necessarily the best lyricist. So what qualifies as a lyricist when you have already qualified him as a poet? I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Nor did he possess the crazy.
You know what? That's how they call on. That's how they maybe have to qualify it, to qualify putting Nas and Kendrick ahead, poetically speaking.
So okay. So
because those guys are poets too. You get what I'm saying?
So Kendrick's a lyricist and Tupac isn't. I get it, right? Is that what this is?
Man.
Is that what this is? All right. He wasn't necessarily the best lyricist. Let me finish this real quick. Said he wasn't necessarily the best lyricist, nor did he possess the craziest flow. Yeah, that's to qualify Kendrick.
There we go. Did you hear that? Did you hear that bullshit?
He wasn't necessarily the best lyricist, nor did he possess the craziest flow. But in fact, his illuminations were made the 25-year-old WonderKind, one of the best MCs to touch God's green earth. Very confusing. You say those things and say he's one of the greatest MCs.
You have to explain why, because you can't say those things and then
I want to know, why whoever wrote this, and if you're in the chat, you could send us an email. We would love to throw you on the show and ask, what do you mean by saying that this poet was not necessarily the best lyricist, nor did he possess the craziest.
We would love to throw you on the show or under a bus.
He knew, hold up, it gets interesting. He knew of his shortcomings, but relied on his voice and motivational messaging to resonate and crack through the toughest gangsters.
They're qualifying Kendrick for the positioning of him.
I don't like that because I don't feel like.
I told you they can't explain number 2 without trying to denigrate 3 and 4, because 3 and 4 do the same thing, except for they do it better at higher quality with better voices, better content, better concepts, better songs, bigger hit records, like literally better.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say, and maybe I don't have all the information. I haven't watched every.
I'm not the problem with this list, Mike. Kendrick the problem with this list.
Hold on, let me finish this thought real quick. I don't have all the information when it comes to all of the Tupac interviews, but I've seen a lot. I've never heard Tupac express the fact that he knew of his shortcomings. So for them to say he knew his shortcomings, that's false. Have you ever heard Tupac say, "I'm not the best lyricist," or "I'm not"?
I heard
any of
these things. Took my whole style and ran with it.
I've never heard him say
like he had shortcomings.
Yeah, I've never heard him say any of these things that they're inferring. They're inferring that he knew the things that they're saying above, that he wasn't the best lyricist or had the craziest flow. They're saying he knew his shortcomings, but relied on his voice and motivational message to resonate. They're saying that he relied on those things because he knew he wasn't the best lyricist or had the craziest flow. No, you made that up. He never said that. He didn't know anything. See, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's false. And
we might have to pull up.
I don't like that.
might have to pull up about Pac.
What you need to say in
Pretty
articles
bad.
like this,
How
I
you going to
feel.
denigrate somebody that you're putting that for?
No, what they need to say is, I feel that he has shortcomings,
What they need to
but
do is
relied on
apologize,
his
nigga.
voice and motivate. You know what I mean?
Apologize.
Don't say he knew of his shortcomings. I've never seen that. Anybody in the chat ever seen Tupac talk about the fact that he's not the best lyricist or had the craziest flow? I've never seen him say that. Let me finish this though.
They're still talking about him and they did this?
Yeah, it's another paragraph. This paragraph's actually big. It says, signing the death row upon his 1995 prison release formed hip-hop's strongest tribune, with him, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg leading the way. His most potent project came as has released a double disc album, All Eyes on Me, the next year. His fourth studio album had the makings of a bona fide classic with incredible singles, How Do You Want It, California Love, I Ain't Mad at You, and superior production. And it reigned for 8 weeks at number one on the Billboard 200. Despite the gaudy win, the MC has a fair share of battles, and most notable with the Brooklyn MC Notorious B.I.G., which turned into a heartbreaking for both coasts. Their lyrical smirkism ended in tragedy when Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas in the shooting in 1996, rocking the entire music world. Even after the death, Tupac's legacy pushed forward with 7 posthumous albums, including 3 Billboard 100, 200 toppers, Hot 200 toppers, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and even a spot in the Library of Congress National Recording Registry for Dear Mama. And despite his short life and career, Tupac's legacy continues to resonate today as much as any rapper. It says a person named CL wrote this. CL, you got to clear up that sentence, he knew of his shortcomings, because that's just falsehood.
He need to clear up more than one sentence, Mike, but that's fine for now. It's about time for us to get out of here.
Okay, let me get through these super chats. BCM with the super chat says, Big Spark M on Dead Wrong with an old verse. Yeah, that's old Big. I don't know if that's real. I think that M probably had the best verse on there.
M had the better verse.
007 with the super chat says, M didn't handle his business with MGK, and anyone who can't do that ain't top 10. End of discussion. Did y'all cover the God did in the hip-hop performances? We haven't yet. We're going to get to it either right now or Friday or whatever. Gary Pierce with the super chat says, Biggie with the $20 super chat. We put some respect on your name. He said, Biggie qualifies on 2 albums. It's like 3 because it's a double disc. But I digress, because it's some of the best-ish ever, like ever. Biggie is top 5 forever. Best to ever do it. Fading anyone in a versus. The Jordan of this. Can't knock that. Let's see. Let me get to the final super chats. 36 Chambers says, I bet you can find a Billboard or similar publication from 10 to 15 years ago claiming that Tupac was the greatest who ever lived. Funny how we move the goalposts to allow someone to jump ahead. It is funny. I'm learning a lot doing this show and reading through these publications. BCM with the super chat says, Pac did say that he wasn't the most lyrical, but he said that he was the realest. I have the Thug Immortal interview when he said that. Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, Nas is number 3. And Kendrick's number 2. Let me read what they said about Kendrick before we get out of here.
I mean, I got about 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? We just need to wrap up. Yeah,
that's cool. It says the Compton native has become one of music's most influential artists thanks to his vivid, thought-provoking, and sometimes controversial lyrics, fearless genre experimentation, and masterful flow. I knew flow was going to be put in here because they knocked Pac's flow. What do you think about the notion that Kendrick is one of the most influential artists in music? Who is he influenced, in your opinion?
Where? Who?
Yeah. When I think of the most influential of this era, I don't even think he comes to mind.
Like, how about this? And I say this respectfully. Prodigy got more influence than Kendrick because I can hear Prodigy in East Coast New York rap today. Today. Right now, I can hear Prodigy. And so this is what I mean about him being placed so high. It's like, so your impact is relative to that of a Jay-Z and a Nas and a Tupac. Are we high right now? His impact isn't even Prodigy level. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, in his own section, if we were to section hip hop off, Prodigy's impact on East Coast hip hop and MCing is greater than his.
I'm
Snoop
not
got
saying
way more
this,
kids. Ice Cube got way more kids.
Of course. I'm not saying this to be funny. But
I
let's look
am.
at even how, the fashion side of it. Does anybody go out there dressing like Kendrick? I guess that's a no.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen him. He's been hiding for the last 5 years, Mike. And then he went to Africa to release his album. And then I haven't seen him except for outside of like a couple of stadiums before he performed and then the Grammys. I don't know. Like how does he dress these days? I don't know.
I mean, because when you say music's most influential artist, one of music's most influential artists, we got to be able to see that influence. Now, he's great, but I don't know if I would put
this is
that
what
on.
I mean about having influence and not being funny. I can hop in the chair anytime I let my hair grow and say, yo, give me that 96 Nas fade. And every fucking barber knows what to do, Mike. Every black barber in America, when I say give me the 96 Nas fade, knows what to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? The nigga hair is legendary. The nigga hairstyles are legendary. It's like, you want the part coupe? It's like, I don't do the part, fam. Just give me the fade.
No, Leroy, I do not have the Kendrick Lamar boots. Didn't get those for Christmas.
I used to have a wave spinning with it, too. That's why they be asking about the part.
Lamar,
you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me get to the rest of this.
Biggie's Coogee sweater. You know what I'm saying? Rakim's Gucci suit with the gold chain.
I mean,
Slick Rick with the patch.
Even when you think about this era, look at the impact of people like Future, Drake.
I'm just talking like on the fashion side of things. Like some of our greatest MCs are fashion icons. Mike, I told you I had the fucking denim suit that Jay's wearing on the cover of Volume 3.
Yeah, I went and got that bubble coat he had on Do It Again.
Hello?
Right, let me read the rest of this. Lamar first gained local attention as a teenage rapper K. Dot through various mixtapes, releasing his first studio album on the indie label Top Dog Entertainment, 2011, Section 80. After signing to Dr. Dre's Interscope imprint, Aftermath Entertainment, a year later, Lamar hit the ground running with his second album, Good Kid, Mad City, becoming an instant creative and cultural force, signaling a major renaissance in West Coast and gangster rap. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me read that again. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Read it slow for people like me, Mike. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer anymore.
After signing the Dr. Dre's Interscope imprint Aftermath Entertainment a year later, Lamar hit the ground running with his second studio album, Good Kid, Mad City, becoming an instant creative and cultural force, signaling a major renaissance in West Coast and gangster rap. They acting like this was 2001 or something from Dr. Dre. Now that was a renaissance for gangster. Like that album got Corrupt activated again.
Hold on.
Nate Dogg, Snoop.
You can finish this, Mike. But all jokes aside, and I want to just finish. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let me finish that. Renaissance and gangster rap. His critically acclaimed sophomore project reeled off several commercial hits, Swimming Pool, Backseat Freestyle, and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Next came 2015's jazz-influenced To Pimp a Butterfly, his first Billboard 200 #1. I can't wait to hear what they're going to say about this album. They're probably going to say crazy stuff. The evolution continued with the R&B and psychedelic soul and the pop-fused Damn. Oh, they just kind of skipped over To Pimp a Butterfly. I thought it was one of the greatest albums ever. featuring Lamar's first solo #1 single, Humble, and the album won the 2018 Pulitzer Prize for music, the first non-jazz or classic work to do so. That year also marking his major foray into film with the Black Panther album. Last year brought Lamar's final TDE album and latest addition to his conscious rap repertoire, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
They all over the place. Now they calling it conscious repertoire, but it started off as gangster.
Mm-hmm. Now that the 17-time Grammy Award winner, I knew they were going to do this after the Grammys. I told you. I was like, they adding up the Grammys right now. Mr. Morale was a newly crowned Best Rap Album. And an Emmy Award winner for last year's Super Bowl halftime show is focusing on his entrepreneurial sites on PG Lane, his film, TV, and music collective that has already scored successes with next-gen rapper Baby Keem. Meanwhile, he's endured combination of lyrical prowess, classics, and envelope-pushing, evolving, continue to support widely held conscious.
Word salad.
And his
Word
best
salad.
He's the best rapper of his generation. Whoever wrote this didn't put their name on that one. Brandon Sloan with the super chat says, not saying Infinite is good, Mike. Don't slander me like that. LOL. Just saying that there's a reason why he didn't rap on those type of beats. There's evidence. I'm going to go listen to Infinite again, too. What do you think about that piece there?
I think it's a piece of something, Mike. I'm going to tell you what, I have to go. So here's what I think we should do. We don't want to jump the gun. This is obviously a very it's a very problematic list.
It is.
The only problematic part of the list that I really have in the top 10 is that this nigga's not #2. All right, I don't even like him being at #2 is such a problem that I don't even want to address him and him being at top 5. That's not the problem with this list. That is not the problem with this list. Eminem
That's
being
crazy
top
to
5,
say.
That's what I want people to understand. This is what I mean is like how egregious this is placing them at #2. Because here's what you're doing. We're sitting up here having a conversation. And people are like, Biggie didn't do enough work, Coop. It's like, shit, I'm pretty certain Biggie didn't do about as much work as Kendrick, and this nigga's #2.
I think the part here, just like the Tupac part.
This nigga ain't rapped this. This nigga took 5 years off. He's #2. I told you, Mike, what I told you. I said, I'm going to applaud the people who go to work. I said, because we're getting very, very dangerous about applauding people who don't even show up to do their fucking job.
I think the part that's kind of dishonest here is to say that Good Kid, Mad City signaled a major renaissance in West Coast and gangster rap. That's not true.
And then talking about conscious catalog, it's like, no, get this nigga a therapist and get us all a therapist for the trauma that he put us through for dropping this whack-ass album, Mike. You know what? We can start off. How about this? We should start off Friday's show by reading Jay-Z and Nas's bylines and then reading Tupac's and Biggie's again so that you understand what the 4 greatest MCs of all time plus Rakim really sound like their bylines. You feel me? Because when you read Kendrick and Eminem shit, Mike, it don't read like Pac and Big shit because they got to force those guys in there.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they deserve to be there based on the bylines.
They don't.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And we didn't even read the other ones. Yeah, I can't believe we just spent 3 hours on this. But hey,
that's what I'm saying. You know, we about to be here on Friday, Mike. Because think about this: we haven't covered Jay at #1 and Nas at #3. That's how wild this Kendrick shit is.
Mm-hmm. We just discussed the elephant.
And I want people to understand this. Oh yeah. We pulling up on Rolling Stone and who is which whack ass?
But you know what? No.
Is it Vibe or Double XL?
No,
we can't. Which whack-ass old publication helping these niggas?
We can't let Vibe slide because Vibe is a part of this.
Vibe?
Yeah,
is it
Vibe is a part of this. Yeah.
Is it Vibe telling us that Tupac is struggling with his flow and delivery? Is that Vibe?
Yeah, Tupac leaned on his voice and his message. I'm
gotta work in the morning, nigga. It's about to be a long night for these niggas. All right.
Tupac relied on his voice and his messaging because he wasn't a strong lyricist.
Long night. I might do a station head tonight.
Are we gonna play some lyrical Pac stuff? Let's do it. Do a station head.
Definitely gonna play some real rap, Mike. We're gonna call it Top 5 Dead or Alive. We're gonna play Biggie and Tupac and Nas and Rakim and Jay. It's called Top 5 Dead or Alive.
I like it.
Yeah, top 5 dead or alive. I don't know when I'm pulling up tonight.
All right, y'all. Well, we gonna see y'all
Wow.
Friday. Great show. This was fun.